So once you have your grid all done, or if you are running into the issue while you're gridding that you are kind of getting caught in drawing the whole reference instead of going square by square, what we can do is either work completely square by square, going in, just looking at outline, then value, then detail, then like textures, and work that way. Or once you have that entire outline, then you're good to start moving over to charcoal. So either way works out. As you work, you're going to continue to work kind of square by square. For charcoal, you're going to grab those three types of block, vine, and pencil. There's also white charcoal over in that station. Avoid these for now. We're going to pull these at the end. You usually don't want to mix the black and white charcoal. They have a tendency to go kind of like muddy, and they don't blend together very well. So you just want to use the white at the end to kind of finalize detailing. And then you'll also want to grab blending supply of your choice. So looking at either the Q-tips, blending stumps, or Kleenex, and then grab one of the kneaded erasers as well. And then as you get going with the charcoal itself, you're going to start, my recommendation is to start with your vine charcoal, since that's that nice softer charcoal. It's going to help you just kind of establish your lighter tones, your mid-tones, and it's going to give you a nice soft base to shade on. Since it's not compressed, it's going to blend really well on this paper. And then once you have kind of that initial layer in, then we're going to go back starting to look at smaller details and smaller areas. And then the other thing to note is as you start to work with charcoal, and as you start to fill in those grids, you can slowly start to erase out those grid lines as you go. So where I have that lighter tone kind of connecting over into the next box, I took out my line since it was dark enough that I would have been able to see it underneath that charcoal. So just as you go, as you kind of get squares laid out, take out those grid lines just around that one square. Since we don't want those, we'll want to take them out. Otherwise, the gridding process is pretty similar to how you did your outline. You're just going to kind of go through, work through step by step with each box, kind of looking first just at what values do you see, getting those blended out, and then going back in and looking at like texture, detail, areas to emphasize. And then as you continue to process through these, I would say just kind of again that reminder of working opposite your handedness can be really helpful when you start working with charcoal, so you're not smudging up any of the squares that you've done before. What you can also do is if you want to grab a piece of scrap paper, just have that down on the paper where you rest your hand. It's going to minimize the amount of pickup, and it's going to keep your information from getting smudged. Otherwise, the process itself goes pretty quickly as you get going. You're just going to be kind of looking at working through each square. And then again, if you're somebody that as you're working through your outline, you notice that you are struggling with kind of breaking these down as the whole outline first, I'd say kind of do the same thing of going in, looking at your outline, then looking at those boxes individually with charcoal. It can make it a little bit easier, so then you are just drawing each square at a time and you're not running into that issue of where you're drawing more of the whole picture, what you think you're seeing instead of what you actually are seeing. So that is some of grid drawing, of just kind of learning how to fully observe those squares individually instead of looking at the whole picture. But as you go, you'll just kind of continue to work through. My one recommendation is if you have a very dark background that you intend on keeping, I would say leave your background till the very end and just focus on your subject matter. Then we'll go in at the end and completely fill that in with charcoal. Can save you a little bit of a mess. But otherwise, you are good to go. Same reminder as last time, just when you get to clean up, I would say use that dish soap that is by the sinks. It's going to help take that charcoal off your hands a little bit easier. And then feel free to grab the lotion over by my desk if you need it. But you are good to go. Let me know if you have questions.